Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to Talk Football Live. We have some maybe not so familiar faces with us tonight. You guys might recognize Cincy, who's been here a few times, and Gbenga has actually been here with us once a few months ago when we talked about a Newcastle game. But he's back with us. We're looking ahead to match week 19. And the main game we're focusing on for today is the Newcastle against Manchester United. So, as always, we like to hear that fans' perspective, get how you guys are feeling about your teams going into the game. Thanks for joining us, Benga. And as always, Biodo is
Thanks,
here.
Alex.
Cincy, thanks for
Good to
joining
be
us
good to be
again.
back, man. Happy weekend, guys.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
compliments of the season. Merry Christmas to everyone watching.
Yeah,
All right.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
So let's dive right into it. It's an interesting time of the season, midweek. I mean, there are a lot of festive fixtures right now. So we had Boxing Day on the 27th. Now we're going into just a day's break before we get into the next round. Um, Manchester United, fresh off of that 2-0 loss at Wolves. Newcastle, on the other hand, flying high, 3-0 win over Villa, sitting currently in the fifth position, looking to those Champions League paces. Cincy, I'll kick off with you because Amorim has said it. He said, "My job is on the line." Right? How do you take that, considering that you are bullish about Amorim and what he's
Oh
bringing to
Lord.
Manchester United? How are you feeling currently, about halfway into the season, and with what Amorim has ahead of him?
So first of all, I think Amorim making a statement of his job being on the line. I think he was just being sarcastic, and he was being humble, and I like the guy, and that is some of the characteristics that I really expect from a man like him. And the fact that he came in, and I think this is like I said, this is something a lot of our previous managers never used to understand. All of them come into this job thinking they are going to be the hero and come and save United. But I think him is coming in and he already understands the enormous task that is at hand that he needs to deal with. And I like the fact that he's coming in with that approach. You can see he's trying to change a lot of things. And I think a lot of people also keep forgetting that he did not inherit this team. Ten Hag was the coach that started this season, and he came in, and his job is to kind of like rescue whatever situation that we find ourselves in. And unfortunately, it happens to be that he's still dealing with the same mess. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to give him a pass or anything, but what thing I would do say is that, like I said, when we had Tenag and those players, we had what I call a double whammy, which means we had a bad manager and we had bad players. Now we have a good manager, but we still have bad players in place. So now this is not his mess. These are still players that he's trying to work with from the past. And I'm going to be honest, even all this while where Amorim has been playing, I have not really sat down to watch 90 minutes of United football. But thank God for the holidays. I actually finally sat down and I watched full 90 minutes. What I've been watching before were just highlights, paying attention to the stats and seeing what exactly has been going on. But I finally watched 90 minutes. Now I have to say I was super duper disappointed in the players. I can see the manager's idea. It's there. It's obvious. And that was something I could not see with Tenak, something I could not see with Ole. I could not see the idea. Even with Moyes, when Moyes was the manager, I could not see the idea. Finally, I'm beginning to see a manager that his footprint, his blueprint is beginning to show on the soccer field. But unfortunately, he's doing it with some Dos Equis kind players, man. These guys are, I don't even know, they're not good
Cincy,
enough. They're not good enough.
Cincy,
Yeah.
you mind if I jump in here? Ayo, are you
Yes,
trying to
yes,
say
please.
something?
Yes, jump
You
in.
might be
Yes.
on mute, Ayo. Okay.
Yeah, jump.
So
Yeah,
Cincy,
jump in.
let me jump in here. You said a few things that I actually want to challenge.
Okay.
You talked about, you can see the structure. I know you and I have gone back and forth regarding the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
come back to that. But you're talking about the players. I I like what Hamorim has done till now. I respect him. He's done a great job in Portugal till now. But I also think there are a few things that I think he could have fixed by now. And I wanted to ask you if you think those things are obvious to you and you think those things he should be fixing by now. As of
Okay.
today, Man United has considered a lot of goals from set pieces, right?
Yeah.
And it happened last game again. Another corner kick getting
Ah,
in.
that
Now,
was that
I say,
was that was
hold on,
that
Sissy.
was a
Hold
very
on,
good
Sissy.
corner kick, though.
Hold on, Cincy. Man
Okay.
United has been bad on set pieces. That one is there. When
Mm-hmm.
you come in as a manager, yes, you need time to establish how you want to play your team, your structure, your culture, and everything. But we also know that there are some areas whereby all managers try to find quick wins, right? Quick wins, just to make sure that things are going in the right way. Yes, he didn't have the time for preseason. He took over, but remember, this guy didn't take over half of the season. He took over like few games before the half of the season. So that's enough time. Also, as a manager that is coming with a pay bump, right? You cannot tell me that he hasn't received or requested for a lot of videos. By now, he should have watched a lot of videos. This was the same guy that also asked for a month before starting the new job. So, to me personally, a top manager, well paid, coming in at that level, should have done some things and looked at areas whereby he can quickly fix to get some quick wins. One of it is that set pieces. That thing should have been addressed by now. Number two, why is he adamant sticking to his style? If the style does not fit the current crop of
The
players you have
players.
today, it is not a must for you to play those players or play the styles. You have to get something to get you the result till the end of the season, so that when you finish the end of the season in a nice position, then you have the preseason to now establish how you want to play. This guy is sticking to the style that he alone believes that is the right way to go, but the players are not there. So how do you explain that, Cincy?
Okay, first of all, let me answer that second question. Now, with the whole point of the style of the players of playing the current style, this is it's very simple. If he decides to play a system that suits this player, he knows at the back of his mind, these are not the players he's going to be using next season. So why does he want to play something that suits them? He needs to play a system. He needs to start creating a structure right now, which is what he's doing. I completely disagree with you trying to play a system that fits, especially players that are not even worth playing for. These players are not good enough. So I don't expect him to try and play a style that pleases them. He needs to start creating that structure from now. And I completely agree with him with what he's doing, and I support him on that level. Now, with your other question, which you are talking about, he had enough time. See, let me tell you something. No matter how much time you have in this life, the thing is, 1 month is not enough. Even the amount of games he has, how many games have he played? Has he played up to 10 games? I don't think so. Let me tell you
About
something.
10 games.
Yeah,
About
has
10.
he has played about 10 games?
About 10.
When
About
Ateta
10.
came in, and I was telling you the same thing. When Ateta came, go look at Ateta's stats when he came in. First 10 games, he struggled. So this is a normal thing. Now, maybe the struggle is a little bit on the bad side again, and it's a combination of a lot of things. And I feel like it's just a situation whereby everybody wants to laugh. You want to make mockery of United because when the guy came
Yeah,
in,
but
we were all excited.
sorry to jump
And
in here, Cincy.
yeah,
When Van Nistelrooy came in on a caretaker basis, he did quite well. So
he did
the same
okay.
kind of
Yeah, he did a good job. He did a decent job. Yeah, he did a decent job.
Yeah.
But I mean, Van Nistelrooy was never going to be the United manager. You know, I'm not going
And
to
to
lie.
my point, Cincy, I'm not saying play the style that fits the players. I'm saying play a style that gets you to the end of the season in a good position,
Why
so
would he
that you
want to
then
do
End
have
result.
that?
time.
But tell
You
me
cannot
something.
change.
But
You
tell me
cannot
something.
fire all the
But tell
players,
me
right?
something. If he does
You
that,
cannot fire all the players right now, correct? You agree with that, right?
yes, he cannot. He cannot.
That's what you have to the end of the season.
He
So
cannot.
what do
But
you
he
do as
is,
a manager
but
to
he
the end
is
of the
going to
season?
retain some of these players too. So he wants to make sure that the ones that he's retaining, they are already eating from the chemistry. He doesn't want to wait to next season for him to get that started, because what happens if this season, next season comes and he changes the
See,
system
can we be
and he's
realistic?
struggling?
Can we be realistic?
Let's
This
talk about
game,
what?
this job. No, let's be realistic, and I want you to give me an honest answer.
Yeah.
This job for these guys. What is the main thing? Is it no result? Who cares about? Who cares about?
No. I take that back.
No, Sissy, no. Just be honest. Is it about results?
It's not about results.
Okay,
This is
so
about
okay. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you in another way.
system.
Sissy,
But see,
if he continues this way,
let me tell you
Sissy,
something.
hold on.
Fire.
If he continues this way, Sissy, if he loses the next two games, what position does that put Man United? They will go from 14 to like 16, 17. That is getting close to relegation. If he continues that way, sticking because he wants to identify player, and he loses more game, I am telling you, you will be the first person saying we have to make a change. Man United cannot go to relegation. That is not possible. It is not going to be accepted anywhere.
So, Cincy, I want to ask you a question. Cincy, I
hold
want
on,
to
hold
ask
on.
We even get to relegation talk from here. Relegation is not going to happen. Don't worry, the form will improve.
Hold on, Gbenga.
Don't worry, the form will improve.
Yeah, Cincy,
Gbenga, your question.
This is just a few
I want to
games.
ask Cincy a question, and we have to be realistic. If you look at the table, you're closer to relegation than the top of the table. So numbers don't lie. Number two is, what changed? You won the derby against Man City, and then the results just started getting bad. Does it mean that the City game was a fluke?
No, it wasn't.
What went wrong?
Again, and that is exactly what happens when you are building. Again, it's not going to be smooth sailing. As they go and look at Ateta's stats, his first 10 games, he only won 4 games. Go and look at it. This happens time and time again. Every single man that has been, even Klopp when he came, he struggled. So all this one you guys are saying, I'm kind of surprised. It's just a few games. He will figure it out. Let him figure it again. He's dealing with a lot of mess right now. He's dealing with a lot of mess.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in a little. So to an extent, I agree with you, Gbenga, because I haven't been a coach, right? And there's a thing you have to work on the philosophy to an extent, right?
Yeah.
It takes time because those players have been used to a different type of way of playing. There's some inbuilt psychology that players are used to reacting to in certain game situations, and you have to just take time to coach that out of them. So that's a fair point. But the reality of it is, as Biodo and Gbenga are saying, 2-3 more losses, you start getting close to relegation.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's going to be a different question, because at the end of the day, the number one priority, at least for me, looking at Manchester United this season, is survive till the end of the season and survive the league, stay in the Premiership. I don't think you guys. I don't even think there's any.
What about them going?
Okay, now let me.
I don't think there's any consideration.
How many more games are left in this season? Let me ask you. I think you guys are forgetting one second.
So let's come back. Let's come back to Man United.
You guys have been. Let me know. It seems like you guys are asking me the question. Answer me. How many more games are left in this season?
18 more games.
So you want to tell me that 18 more games is not enough to justify United to survive Premiership? You are telling me that 18 more games, United is not going to survive the Premiership in 18 games.
Oh no, we're looking at the trends, right? We're looking at the indicators.
No, because
we're looking at the indicators. We're looking at the trend.
No,
we don't know, but we're just looking at the trend.
This is just a phase. It will come and go. It will come and go. Don't worry.
I'm just asking you to be realistic. We're looking at the trend. We don't know what those results. We don't know what those results will be. Wait, Cincy, now.
You are talking about relegation based on the next 2 games.
Yes, I'm looking at the trend.
Man U is losing to Newcastle United tomorrow.
2-3 games left in the season.
Okay, Cincy, Man U is losing to Newcastle. Do you want to place a bet on that?
Now let's come to the Newcastle
game. I want to get Gbenga's. They are not winning.
Gbenga's thoughts on Newcastle.
Making 3 games back to back losses.
So let me get your thoughts on Newcastle. Hold on, Cincy, hold on.
If Man City continues to lose 7 games in a row, they will find themselves also in relegation battle. If they continue to lose, they will find themselves in relegation battle too. I can say the same thing for Man City. So why are you talking about United? Man City is losing. They are losing too.
Let me get your thoughts on Newcastle. How are you feeling about Newcastle? You guys
I'm feeling really good. Cincy is a great guy, but I'm sorry that we're going to inflict more pain on United tomorrow. Number one of my biggest reasons for saying we're winning, one of the best players in United is Bruno Fernandes, and is going to be suspended for that game. Newcastle's strength is in our midfield. Like, we have world-class midfielders, and they are in serious form this season. There's the midfield magician, Bruno Guimaraes. There's midfield maestro Sandro Tonali, feels like a new signing because it was out on suspension for most of last season. And Joel Linton. And let's talk about the man in form. 5 goals, consecutive goals, is on form. I know Arsenal has been eyeing him. It's the beautiful bride, Alexander Isak. I mean, Newcastle is playing sexy football. At the moment, we've won our last 4 games in a row. We haven't done that in a long time. So the momentum and the statistics, they favor Newcastle. And then Newcastle is going against a Manchester United that has a new manager. They're trying to find their rhythm and philosophy. I don't think there will be any pity for United, especially. I mean, I'm still hurt. United beat Newcastle in the Carabao Cup finals last season. As I've been supporting Newcastle United for 25 years now, we haven't won anything. I've gone to relegation twice, and that was our closest opportunity to a silverware. So it would be nice to defeat United at Old Trafford. But statistically speaking, we've only done that once in a long time. But based on current form, we're most likely to win, and I'm sure. I could put a wager on it that Newcastle United will come out tops.
So what's the goal for Newcastle this season? Is it a trophy? Is it to get into Europe? Is it?
It's been a topsy-turvy season, and this our manager has done wonders. Eddie Howe. We didn't know. I'm very, and I say this with all sense of humility, knowing where we came from. We were battling relegation under the last owners, Mike Ashley. He's turned the club around in record time. We played Champions League football. We beat PSG in Paris. We had some good results. And I know how that stretched the squad. I'm very skeptical about European football, but I think this time around we should be ready to go, because last season it did affect our performance. I became a mid-table team after our Champions League experience, but now we're fifth. We didn't start well. We beat Arsenal and had a few results. It's been a bit topsy-turvy, but now the guys are getting into a rhythm. They're on a high. We're fifth. And who knows? So Europe should be a decent finish for us. Yeah.
Okay.
European football, Champions League.
Yeah. Okay. Champions League. So top 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of the season to go. There's 20 games left to go at this point. Sissy, how are you feeling going into this Newcastle clash? How do you respond to Gbenga emphatically saying Man U's losing another game again tomorrow?
I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he has every right to say what he said, and obviously the numbers don't lie. United is not in the best top form right now, but again, this is the Premiership, man. You can never get too overconfident, and there are so many good teams in the league, and on a good day, anyone can get beat, man. That's one thing I've noticed about Premiership, and coming from the fact that this is a wounded lion that is coming back, so they will have a lot to prove. And yes, you did mention Bruno Fernandes being out of the game. Trust me, United is better off without that guy. That guy is not good enough. I'm telling you, man, he's not good enough. If I watched that game yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday, and I was very disappointed in him as a playmaker, as a captain of the team. The fact that he even got that red card at that very moment, I was like, how can you be doing this to your team? You are letting your team down. So I think United is better off without him. First of all, he doesn't even have a competition, and I think that's where the problem is. And the problem came from the old managers that never gave him anything to compete with. Unfortunately.
So when you say he's not good enough, are you referring to his character or his technical ability?
He's not good enough in general. In general, everything overall, as a leader, as a playmaker, as the main player on the team, the main character is not good enough. He's not. I'm sorry, he's not good enough. The touch he made yesterday that got him that far was terrible. It was a very terrible touch. From a key player, you should not be touching the ball like that, man. You should be trapping the ball very well, not allowing the ball to lose your leg. Then you go foul the player, and you get a red card on top of that, and you cost your team the game. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, before that game, United was actually structurally organized. I gave our defense 7.5, our attack 3, because we're not attacking well enough. And I was like, you know what? With this game, we can still nick this game. There was a chance that we can. And it was one of those games that if United was able to keep 10 men or 11 men on the field, we would have been able to nick a 1-0 in that game. But I knew immediately he got that red card, I knew we were doomed, because I was like, oh my God, we are not even good enough, and we are now losing players. United is not the team to be playing with one man down. We are not going to survive that. We barely played with 11 players, and now you're giving us one man down.
If Bruno Fernandes is not playing, who is going to play? How are you going to play? Who is going to replace Bruno Fernandes?
I don't know. That is I don't know.
He doesn't even have a replacement. I can agree with you that it's not good enough, but you don't have a replacement for him.
Yeah, we don't, and I'm arguing with you. I'm not arguing, and that's what I'm saying. I will.
Don't you think that will have an impact on the Newcastle game? Don't you think that have an impact on the Newcastle?
Because you don't even have any.
I don't know. Too many people are talking. Sorry, what was the question?
Gbenga, go ahead.
Yes, don't you think that should have an impact on the Newcastle game? It will make life easier for Newcastle to cross the midfield, because the game would be won from the midfield. We have middle attackers. I
agree with you 100%. But don't forget, this guy is still an experienced manager. He can pull anything out of his sleeve. So again, don't get too surprised and don't get too confident. I know this league. We've been watching this league. We've been watching it together now.
We're not even talking this league together. Anthony Gordon and the Newcastle. You might not even have possession tomorrow. It might be possession, might be 60-40.
See, I hope you bring him back after that game. I hope Gbenga is going to come back after that game, because I know they run. We don't lose.
I did.
Bruno,
Guimaraes, not your fake Bruno Fernandes. Tonali, Italian. I mean, it's the new, people call him
Pillow,
the new
Andrea
Perez.
Pillow.
You need to see this guy
The new
glides
Pillow.
with the ball. And then you have Joel Linton, the powerhouse.
That guy
Plus,
is a mad guy. Man.
I mean, you have Gordon in front, he's always making runs. You have Murphy, you have Isak on fire.
We even have Abby Barnes. They have Abby Barnes on the bench.
Abby Barnes, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And Lewis Hall, even the left backs. I mean, come on.
I'm not
So,
arguing with you guys.
interesting fact. I mean, just again, I'm looking at results and just more stats stacked against United. United have conceded at least 2 goals in each of their last 5 games, which for me is interesting when you say you give the defense 7.5. And even when I think you guys might have also seen that first training video
in that game against Wolves.
in that game.
Please. Yes, please. Don't misquote me, please.
But they had conceded at that point. I mean, they conceded 2 goals in that game as well.
Before the red card. I was saying
They
before
were down already at that point. It was 1-0 at the point. I watched the game.
No, they were not. It wasn't.
No, you were down. The corner kick.
We were down. Yeah, the corner. Yeah, they scored the corner.
Down
yes.
1-0.
Yeah, they scored 1-0. Yes, and again, when they scored the red, when the guy got the red card, that's when I knew we were in trouble. Yes, you're right. We did concede a wonderful corner from that guy.
Yeah, you already considered 11-11.
Conceding set pieces. Yes,
and that's what I've been saying.
But I still felt like
the moment I zoomed down road
was still very good. The Wolves had no chance now. They had no chance. I watched that game now. They had no chance.
Yes, they scored the manager that zoomed a new row and knowing that was the weakness.
If Bruno was in the game.
Actually, I take that back. Cincy is right. It was 0-0 at the time Fernandes got the red card. So he got the red card in the first 7 minutes. You guys are confusing me, man.
No. I think we're saying the same thing. It was 11 v 11. It was 11 against 11 when they conceded. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was not. No,
it wasn't.
It was not. It was 0-0 when he got.
Yeah, it was 0-0. Yeah, it was 0-0. I know. I remember now. It was 0-0, and we were playing okay. And I felt like the structure was there. Wolves had nothing. Wolves had nothing to offer. They had nothing to offer. And immediately after that red card, I already knew. I called my friend and said, Baba, we'll go lose this game. Forget them. We will be saying we don't even if we survive with 11 players. Saying that with 10 we won't survive. And I was like,
where then is your optimism coming from for tomorrow's game?
Going into Newcastle.
Tomorrow is the new day. And Premiership is, I don't think you understand where Premiership works.
No, you need to walk.
Tomorrow is a new day.
So walk us through the team. Walk us through where the danger could come from Manchester United.
From United, I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually disappointed in Meno. And what's his name? I was also disappointed in Ahmad a little bit. They were not effective as I want them to be. But again, that was a bad game. I want to believe that was just a bad game from those guys. So tomorrow comes tomorrow. They could actually show up tomorrow and they could have good games tomorrow. They could put in good performances, and that's all it takes. And I feel like Garnacho is probably gonna have to play tomorrow at some point, Now who's gonna fill up Bruno's place? I don't know. Because I don't know. Anthony can't do nothing. Eriksen is too old. He cannot do it anymore. So tomorrow is going to be.
Do you miss Rashford?
Oh, we don't need him.
He's lecturing right now. He's in class.
We don't miss Rashford.
Rashford is in class.
Need him because even when we play Rashford, it's not like he's bringing anything to the team. So I don't really miss him. There's so much he can offer. Rashford needs to be sold. Rashford needs to be sold, free up his wages, so we can get a better player that can actually come and be effective. If there's any job right now, somebody asks me, I actually wish I can be part of United's scouting team. If that's for free, just be there and just be telling because I don't know how they pick players.
I agree with you on that one because if you actually want to look into the foundation of your problems, I think it started with you going after the wrong players, and that's been your.
And that's one thing
you've acquired a lot of wrong players for like the last 3-4 years. But anyway, I have questions for you. You mentioned Mino, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And I've been telling somebody mentioned that to me, and I agree with the person like a week ago. Mino, I think Man U fans are now beginning to say, when you like a player actually started very well. You give them a lot of time to let them make mistakes. But Meno is actually playing poorly so far this season. Meno, when he started, will win the ball and will make the quick pass. I think he's beginning to hold on to the ball right now that he's losing possession a lot. And the last 2-3 games that I've watched, that thing has affected Man U. So I'm glad you actually saw that and you called that out. I do have a question on Garnacho as well. I thought Garnacho was the one that was trying to eat a very good form. during Ten Hag. And when Amorim assumed the role, he started dropping him. And I don't know why. I don't know, maybe you have a better explanation, but my thought was that I felt he should have kept him and helped him be a better player. But I think dropping Garnacho to the bench, I don't know if it's going to affect Manu one way or the other. But I think it's affecting you because that guy was getting a lot of game time that was helping him with Ten Hag. But when Amari came, I don't know why he started benching the guy. I know his quality, he needs some quality in finishing, which he can improve. But he should have just continued to play him so that he can improve. Then he brought in Mamad, which is great. But Ahmad, you need to manage his age. You need to manage his growth because you cannot give too much body. Man, you, if you are the star player, man, you are basically carrying too much body. And that burden needs to be shared. So a manager needs to figure out how he can share that burden across these players. These players are young. You can't put the burden on folks like Ahmad and Garnacho. Bruno is the matured player that should be taking responsibility. He's not. And I see, and I agree with you with your hunger. Like, Bruno is not doing that. Instead, he blames players. And Oyland basically had to tell him that stop blaming people on the pitch. So he's not showing the right leadership. You cannot be blaming and calling out people during the game when you yourself is losing possession. So I'm glad you talked about Meno, but I don't know your thoughts on Garnacho, and I would like to hear that.
So as far as Garnacho goes, let me tell you something. If Garnacho can give us the same performance that Ahmad is giving us, I'm telling you, man, United will be very, very good. Have you seen that boy? Both offense, both defense is giving 120%. That guy is giving 120%. Garnacho offensively is doing a good job, but defensively, I'm not seeing that. We need that pressure. If we can get two players doing that on the left and on the right, United will be okay. And that is why the manager was mad at him. It was like, no, you cannot be a one-sided player. You need to learn how to play in my own system.
And I think you're very right about that. And that is what has turned Newcastle's season around. We're a high-pressing team. Yeah. Everybody chasing the ball.
Everybody has to be there. Yeah. Only Ahmad is the one doing all the work every time. Even when we scored against Man City, he was one that won all those balls.
Yeah.
How many things can he do?
You can't allow the opposition to bring the game to you all the time.
I'll be angry when only one person is doing the job. Bruno Fernandes is losing ball. He's losing ball in midfield all the time. You are losing ball in midfield. Nobody's passing well. I mean, you know what? I mean, it's
all right. So I've enjoyed the the perspectives from both of you. Biono has come in with some interesting points and questions as well. And I think going into it, since you don't seem too confident going into this game because you're saying it depends on the performance that United comes up. Granted, it's 11v11. It's the Premiership. These are all, at the end of the day, they are top quality players.
Yeah,
there's a quality manager. Anything could happen. But looking at the form, Gbenga is more bullish. Newcastle is performing well at the moment. It seems to be favoring Newcastle going into this game.
Scored 11 final goals and considered 0 in our last 3 games. 11 goals and considered none. We have Isak on fire. Final thoughts: 5-0 Old Trafford tomorrow.
Wow!
Yes,
wow!
Bring this guy back.
One of the best.
I beg you, please bring.
Gbenga, you really hate Amorim. Gbenga, you really hate Amorim because that's going to be a sack letter. I'm just saying.
The opposition is coming against. Wow. It's not our fault. Not our fault.
That's like Newcastle bringing the sack letter over.
That's a sack letter right there.
Nah, I think for me, I would take a 1-1 with Newcastle, with 1-1 with a very decent performance. I would take that. And I think United needs something to build on right now. They need confidence. And I think this is the perfect game. Imagine United winning this game. I mean, the confidence.
So do you think there's a chance United win this game, or are you just hoping for a decent result and a performance?
I'm hoping for a decent result. And like I said, a draw will not be bad with a very good performance online, which means they actually gave Newcastle a run for their money. And that will not be a bad place to start. And a win absolutely would be fantastic. I think that would be good. A win with a good performance would be good. And a win in general too will be okay. Trafford will be good. Yeah, but I think right now, with United, we need to see a better performance and we need to see Newcastle not just come there, like Gbenga said, give us 5-0. They need to, even if they are going to even win the game, they need to know that, okay, we are still playing United. And I don't think they're going to win, but I cannot confidently say it. And like I said, that's why I believe that, a 1-1 or a 0-0 or a draw, in general, will be a good result for United in this game, just to stop the bleeding. And so that way we can, and this is also a bad period for you to be losing too many games because these games are coming thick and fast. Yeah, so there's no time for you to really sit down and relax and think about what you're trying to do. So, Amorim came in at a bad time, and like I said, I keep telling people there was going to come a time, and I can tell you guys, mark my word, record this video and make sure you put it down. We are going to have this conversation, and that time is going to be United leading the league and playing really well.
Can I just warn you?
Every time you come
here, you talk this way.
The time will come
your results get worse. Be careful.
I'm
not. You are humble, you get better results. You can go and just.
No, I'm telling you, no, because the thing is this: if I come here and if I'm over,
I'm warning you right now.
If I am over,
doing gaga. The last time you did gaga,
if I am over humble, then I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my job because when you are too humble, it means that you're already accepting that to defeat. I cannot come here and tell you that.
But then you're not being realistic too. If you're bragging,
I'm not telling it's going to happen tomorrow, though. I'm not telling it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm telling that there's going to come a time on this podcast. Maybe it could be in 2 seasons, in 3 seasons, when United will be leading the league. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We'll wait to that time.
All right. Well, if you've been following us 2024-25 season, it's shaping up. After this round of games, we'll be exactly halfway through with 19 games left to go. Stick with us. Gbenga and Cincy, as always, lovely having you here, and we look forward to having you back. Until the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.